Hello everyone, my name is Maritza Liliana Montoya. This is an activity of the course Language and Culture. This is an interview about the relation between the language and culture. Mm, Hello, teacher Edwin. Thank you for accepting my interview. This is
Hello.
the current topic in the teaching learning process.
All right.
Okay, what is your name?
My name is Elvin Londoño.
Where do you work?
Well, I work at UNAT.
Okay, what courses are you in charge of?
Well, in this moment, I have didactics of English and English literature.
Okay. How long have you been as English teacher?
Well, I've been working as an English teacher for about 8 years, more or less.
Okay. Now I am going to begin with the questions about the topic. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. What do you think about the culture?
About the culture, well, I don't know. This question is a little bit confused because well, culture, I don't know if you're asking about the concept itself or about a specific culture, but well, culture, of course, it makes reference to the particular beliefs, to the particular habits of a very specific group of people. Um, the culture, in the culture is evidence that the identity of that group of people. So of course, it's something that has to be respected, because it's the identity is in what people believe, people's behavior is according to this culture. So it's something that is absolutely important in the studies of that group.
Okay, thanks. Now, what is the influence of culture in the process of a foreign language process?
Well, the influence, it's evident of the culture in the process of learning a foreign language because, well, language is culture. Through the language, the culture is represented. Um, People represent what they think, what they believe, what they do through the culture. So the influence it's very evident. When we study a foreign language, we have to study also the culture because, as I said, is what is reflected in the language.
Okay. How do you involve in culture in the strategies you use in your English classes? Give me real examples, please.
Well, I always try to involve the culture in the English classes because, as I told you, the culture cannot be separated from the language itself. Um, for example, when we study like mm, the different events that are typical in a specific city or in a specific country. So when we study the language, we can study the terms, we can study the language that we use in these events. Um, when doing comparisons between the differences in languages between the British or between the American or the Australian accents. So the language they use is different. So that's important. Generally, when I give an English class, I always try to mix. this type of English. For example, we're talking about the vocabulary of clothes. So I show the American language, but also I try to include elements from the Canadian English, from the British English, because it's absolutely important that the students know that.
Ah, yes. I according that you told me, you answered me. So, we as a teacher we can mix the different cultures in a class.
Hmm. Yes, we can, and I consider we have to.
Okay. Okay, the next. What do you consider are the most important elements to success in the second language learning?
Well, the to success in second language learning, well, I would say uh, practice, but practicing not only in a academic context, but also to use language in our everyday life. We can use English outside the classroom when we talk with our relatives, with friends, when reading, when listening, when writing on the net. It's absolutely important that we are in contact with language every time we can, because that's the way we practice, that's the way in this way we are not going to forget what we are learning. So it doesn't make sense if we learn the language, if we learn how it functions, but we don't use it. So that's absolutely important to do with language, to use it.
Yes, I agree with you because the language is, in this case, yes, not only learning English or French or German, you need to practice all the time. Yes, it's important to improve and develop your skills. Do you think it's easy or difficult to include the culture aspect in the classes?
No, it is not. It is not difficult. But on the contrary, it's easy. It's funny. It's different. When we do this, students get more involved in what they are learning. Um, they can't like realize the sense of the language. Mm, so it is not difficult. It is absolutely easy to do it, and very important. As I mentioned, students can be more interested in learning the language, because they are discovering new cultures, they are discovering new people, new ways of living. So it's imperative that do this in the classes.
Okay. The expectation of, okay, sorry. If the expectation of improvement of teaching can be improved if the, no, sorry. Do you think expectation of improvement of teaching can be improved if the teachers relate activities with the culture?
Yes, I do. When the students get more interested in education, well, in this case, it's going to make the things easier for teachers, I would say, because they are willing to participate. They are willing to achieve the goals, and not only their goals as active students, but also the teachers' goals. So the teaching skills can be absolutely improved when the teachers relate their practices with culture.
Okay. And the last, can you think of some? Can you think of some techniques that could be used in the teaching culture? to foreign language students?
Well, some techniques can be, well, I can mention again the one I told before. Um, it's try to include vocabulary, grammar, language from the different types of English. So just not be focused on American English, that is what teachers usually do, but also include elements from the British English, elements from the Canadian English. I think that's a good way to motivate the students. So include language. Um, Also, when we talk about the specific issues or topics of culture, for example, events, places, famous places, food, and so on, just not focus on one country or one specific place, but do it in generally.